Hey everybody, this is Dr. Brian Jeanette from Laurel Park Chiropractic. Today I want to go through some of the gym injuries that we're causing without even knowing it, or more specifically, how we are causing these gym injuries without us knowing about it. Because most gym injuries don't happen from just one bad exercise, one bad lift, one bad day. They happen because of a series of small, accumulative, repeated efforts over and over again that are having a negative impact on us. And a lot of the time, we don't even know that they're happening, which is the scary part, because we don't know that we're doing it, and we don't know that harm is being done until we have that one lift, that one day, that one workout that ends up causing that injury. Sometimes the injury is not bad, not severe. We recover in a few days. Sometimes the injury takes much longer, several months to recover. So I'm going to go through a couple of the different reasons why we have these, or why this takes place. The first is we're generally lifting without having the proper mobility to do so. If we're trying to back squat and we don't have the mobility taking place in our hips, what takes place is our body's going to steal movement from our lower back, and we're going to end up getting with a lower back injury. Or if we don't have the mobility in our hips, it's going to go into our knees, and we're going to hurt our knees while squatting. These things, stiffness compounds over and over and over again in our body, and we don't see the damage or impact from it until we actually have an injury that takes place. Now, the second thing that I want to go through is specifically your training program. A lot of us have training programs that have too much volume, they have too much load, they have too much frequency. And injuries don't come about because we're back squatting. Injuries come about because we're back squatting too much, too heavy, and too frequently. We're overflowing our cup. We're putting too much into our body that our body can't handle. And what happens is we get pain signals. We'll get pain signals. We might get extra soreness. Maybe that soreness is on that borderline between soreness and pain. And we're not paying attention to that, because we think that it's a good thing from the workout, but we're actually feeling a bad type of pain within our joints themselves. The third thing I want to go through is skipping your warm-ups completely. A lot of us are really, really pressed for time, myself included. I've got 2 young kids at home, and my workouts, I'll be lucky if I get 50 minutes to do a complete training session. Sometimes it's only 30 minutes depending on my kids' nap schedule. Walking into the gym cold, after sitting all day at work, after skipping lunch because you had a meeting, after not drinking any water because you have to constantly get up and use the restroom and it messes with your workflow, and then you immediately ask your body to be an athlete, to move, to lift weights, to do things, you're causing an overload in that tissue. That tissue's been so stiff and inactive all day, and then you're making it go and be active. It's not going to be happy after a while. We want to make sure that we need to get, 1, the movement throughout the day, but then 2, and just as important, is that warm up and that movement prior to our lifts, right? And I'm going to post a 10-minute or 10 mobility drill warm up that I do almost every time before I exercise. Just a few quick movements that get my blood flow going, my muscles warmed up, and make me completely ready to exercise. And finally, the last thing I want to go through is actually probably the most important. The most important thing is we never give our body a chance to recover, right? Life happens all the time, but recovery happens when our body is inactive and resting. Our body happens when we sleep. So if you're sleeping 5 or less hours per night, you're stressed out, you're dehydrated, and you're trying to exercise 4, 5, 6, 7 days per week, your tissues never get a full chance to recover. This also happens with an inappropriate training program, which we'll cover in a later video series. This is when we get the tendonitis or the muscle sprains or the tendon strains. We get those chronic joint stiffness, joint inflammation. But the good news is that there is a lot of things that we can do to prevent a lot of these gym injuries that we don't know that we're causing. So just to recap, making sure that we get a good warm-up, right? We want to make sure that we get a good warm-up. Second is we want to make sure that we're doing our lifting or our exercise within the appropriate window of mobility that we have. We're not pushing our body too far, right? Second is that we want to make sure that we have a good, solid program, and that we're not causing pain and we're not training through pain. Okay? So if you do have any of these nagging injuries from the gym, you do have any of these things that pop up and seem to spiral out of control, give our office a call. We'll take a look at all these injuries or all these nagging chronic joint stiffness, irritation that you're dealing with. We can help you work through it. Thanks.